Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Related note. Including the word disability in your Facebook post about selling or buying something it gets it automatically struck down.
Aaron, we're live.
Hi, guys. I'm not going to provide context for that statement, but feel free to feel justified or outraged as you might decide. This week we have a very special episode of Star Wars that is not about the selling of drugs on Facebook.
No, we sell our drugs behind the 7-Eleven like normal.
Like God fucking intended.
Yeah.
Show some respect for your roots, people.
Case of Edge of the Empire characters, we primarily sell our drugs by smuggling them halfway across the galaxy.
Yep.
That's a good way to do it too.
That's what Narshada is for.
Yeah. You guys should probably go back there at some point. But you're not there right now. So, last week on Afterlight Skies, it's not really important right now, but Rerun blew up a guard post. But right now we are transitioning from that back to a time before. The group is on Corellia, awaiting their ship being fixed. Sai got a contact from one of his rebellion friends who had a friend who needs a thing, and with Ares and Praz's help, is off doing that for the moment. And due to the nature of it, they won't be in contact or able to get in contact with comms during the few days. The mechanic who's repairing your ship actually did have an offer for you while you guys were sitting around and waiting for not only the rest of your party to get back, but also for the ship's codes to be re-scrambled. He has a friend, Kella Lund, and who needs some help. She's a manager for mechanics and in sort of a middle management position at one of the larger refineries. And over the past few years, several people have died in apparently unexplained accidents in the processing facility. Causes are unclear, and in each case, the individual had a droid counterpart that went missing. So you two have agreed to meet with Kella to discuss what she's hoping to find and potentially look into the situation. So, why don't you introduce your characters? Jack.
Okay, I'm Jack, and I am playing Rerun, the astromech mechanic and saboteur, and I will roll some destiny. Like always, one dark side.
And I am Jeremy. I'm playing Cori Kane, human outlaw tech, and sync. And do dark side.
Yes!
All right. So, with a small party and a consuming amount of darkness, as we begin. Kaya is a decently put together Corellian human woman. She's wearing sort of a the kind of Star Wars business attire that's a little bit floofy and sci-fi, but clearly was pressed in the props department quite adamantly.
Nice.
She wears some sort of fancy technological jewelry around her neck, and greets you at the gate to the facility, handing you, Cori, a sort of badge about the size of a sort of business card. Here you go, guest pass. Thanks for agreeing to meet with me about this. I don't have much time, so if you could come on in.
Yep.
I have a question.
She looks a little bit startled by your voice modulator, but yes.
What percentage of individuals that you have hired, freelancers that is, have ended up with restraining bolts?
She looks... None? I actually haven't...
Okay, no problem. Inside. Because the last time he took a freelance job on this planet.
That's fair. Yeah. Hey, you actually have your cover human with you this time.
Yes, I do.
We are learning, though.
Yep. So, yeah, she escorts you inside past some of the columns of this facility to, towards one side of it. And as she goes, she explains, I've been in this position for the past few years. It's a company, of course, we primarily focus on our profits, but some of our mechanics, maintenance people who I'm sort of directly responsible for there have been accidents, and of course there's always some level of accidents, but no one can explain what's happened or how people have just turned up dead. In most of our maintenance, the common practice is one humanoid technician and one counterpart, typically an astromech droid. In each of these cases, someone's working in a part of the facility we've cornered off because there's some sort of issue or standard routine maintenance, and something happens and they die. And in all of these cases, it seems like the astromech is missing. The company, of course, has its own investigators, but my superiors don't feel like it's that important because, well, it doesn't actually affect our bottom line all that much. So I can't dedicate a ton of time to this, but I can give you permission to look around the facility if you can figure out what's happening. We have some rewards, and I probably could arrange a bigger reward for it actually being solved, because once it's solved, that's something
less cost.
Yeah.
So
I don't like it, but I have to work within the system.
okay, so what you're saying is Cori and I fit the demographic of your normal work team that has been the subject of whatever is causing these fatalities / droid nappings. And therefore you feel it is advantageous for us to go investigate, because if it's a whatever it is that's doing this, we fit the target criteria.
That's part of it. It's also, I want to determine if these are actual accidents, what's causing them, and my contact assures me that you have some level of technical expertise beyond what our standard mechanics might be able to notice.
That is definitely correct.
Yep.
I can show you. The most recent incident was 2 days ago. I can show you where Gwyn was. They haven't moved the body yet or cleaned up the area. I said if I managed to get them to put it off for now because we don't have a shipment, but in 3 days they are going to want to clear out everything, at which point any evidence will probably be gone.
Oh. Yes, no, by all means, please show us the corpse that's been laying in place for 2 days straight.
We have, I don't quite understand we have preservation systems.
Oh, much.
Yeah.
That's very, very intelligent.
Mm-hmm. And she heads into one of these columns of the facility that does seem to currently be shut down. Shows you past a few floor signs for maintenance underway, and sort of out of view of those maintenance underway signs further in, there is some actual, like, taped off for sanitary concerns tape that she just pulls up and walks past, inviting you in. This area is sort of the base of one of the cauldrons that the refinery uses. Around the wall, at about Rerun's height, there are sort of sprockets out of the wall that presumably are used for liquid to come into this basin. Above your head, about 70 feet up, there's a sort of large spinning fan. If you've ever been indoor skydiving, that kind of thing, and loose arcing electricity that interlaces with the fan, and electric grills on either side of it.
Can Rerun make some sort of... Oh, keep going.
Oh. I'll get through the box text and then...
No worries.
On the floor in front of you, you see a Trendosh... Let me pull up Gwyn's. A Rhodian mechanic has sort of some tools and a small toolbox that seem to have just been off to the side, perhaps in use, and laying face down on the floor. There's a few small hovering, what you'd probably both easily recognize as preservation systems that are likely keeping the air in the area all maintained for the moment. And she's... Arius, Gwyn was a good man, and I hope you can figure out what happened. If administrators or guards come by or anyone asks you what you're... Just show them your pass. There shouldn't be any issues. I'll be in my office if you need me. Like I said, they don't want me to spend much time on this. I have other responsibilities I have to run back and get to. Just is there anything you'd need right now?
I don't think so. We'll take a look around and see what we can find.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm on the third floor of the central building. There's signs for my office.
Right.
And she will head off, leaving you to this sort of facility and your murder investigation.
Nice.
Not necessarily murder, accident/potential kidnapping.
Yeah. The investigation of the circumstances of the fatality and potential droid nap.
Yep.
Can Rerun look around and get just some sort of mechanics read on what this section of the facility is actually for, with the sprockets and the fan and whatnot?
Sure, absolutely. Mechanics difficulty 2.
Okay. And I'm going to use a light side point that I don't have. Just kidding. 3 successes and a threat.
With 3 successes, this is specifically a refinery. It may be useful for any number of substances, but essentially they put some variety of liquid or liquid metal here, and then by using the fans and potentially mixing in various substances, they create the result they want and then funnel it back out through those tubes.
All right.
It's empty right now. The entire thing's powered off. You can actually see sort of above the fan there is a viewing ring that would essentially be where the chemists or mechanics would be to monitor this when it is on.
Okay. And then, and then wishing that Powder was here, but knowing that they are not, Cori, do you think we can figure out cause of death on this guy?
I mean, it's not exactly my forte, but I can. And she starts.
Yeah.
Letting the sentence end there.
So if either of you would like to try and determine cause of death, that's a difficulty to mechanics. Or, computer. No.
Medicine.
Medicine is the one for dead humanoids.
I will give it a try.
I was going to say, did you just reveal a bunch more information than we needed to know at that moment?
No, I was just running through the list of various checks and what I can tell you based on them, and I started in the wrong part of the chart. Shockingly, you can do a mechanics check somewhere in this facility.
That's fair.
2 successes and a threat.
So, Cori, you're sure he's dead. Most of what catches your attention, you might even be sort of trying to divert from the corpse, is, oh, hey, some of the tools are actually, like, seem like they were presumably in use at the time he died, or he just left his wrench on one of these sprockets. For some reason. Rerun with 2 successes. It strikes you as some sort of electrocution or something like that. One of the things you notice that's a little odd is as you're sort of prodding around and essentially shoving the body a little bit, trying to get a more thorough. The entire chest cavity seems shockingly empty. There's no signs of cut or evisceration on the front, but whatever was in there isn't in there anymore, and with some investigation that's fairly obvious. Like, most humanoids, including Rhodians, have organs in the chest part, and it seems like that area's very floppy. Like, that stuff's missing.
He's missing his stuffings.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
And nobody has... There aren't any access ports on this guy's torso either. I mean, like, there aren't any holes.
And any wounds.
Right. That.
I mean, you're right. They're access ports. But,
at which point...
would such a thing...
Rerun's going to extrude one of his little reacher arms and just spread the Rhodian's mouth oral cavity open.
Yep.
And, like, he's going to investigate the extant orifices and see if anything was extracted via those, if he can tell.
Okay, make me a difficulty 3 medicine check to specifically determine that. Or you want to know what could have caused this?
Cori is going to... I don't know if I would have access to this via datapad. But is there some... like, you know, a Hollow News net, the like, that I would be able to have access to, because this is a very particular kind of injury. It's something that somebody would have to have practice doing.
Yeah, you want to find like similar
potential
incidents.
similar. Are we dealing with some kind of fucking serial killer or?
I mean,
Or a
there
parasite.
are definitely serial killer speculation channels. You can roll me because you're just accessing this from your data pad, you can roll
Right.
me let's go with Knowledge Core Worlds because you're on Corellia with 2 setback difficulty 2, but with 2 setback die for not really having like full channel access.
Okay.
Just whatever you can get. Rerun. So let's see.
No success, no failure,
or succeed.
but has shit ton of threat.
So Rerun, you're starting by sort of using your more claw-oriented hand to kind of open the oral cavity to see like if maybe the stomach got pulled out of. That's not actually how stomachs work, but maybe it happened. You don't know. And
Vacuum
as
tubes.
you do, like, blood and pinkish blue fluid starts to pour out of the nose and mouth, and you kind of scoot away because you don't necessarily want that on your paint job.
Yep.
And that is definitely either spinal or brain fluid.
I've read a
Very
couple.
soupy.
I've read a couple of Powder's books.
Yeah. You've also been a soldier in an army.
Right. I know what happens when you shoot Zerodian. I know what comes out. I've seen it done.
Or with 1 success, there doesn't seem to be any speculation or this sort of modus operandi on any of the channels. But with 3 advantages, you do recall that this is apparently not the first time someone has been found mysteriously dead. And apparently the previous times it wasn't really investigated. It was just like, oh, factory accident, incinerator.
Okay.
Well, I've made one important discovery, Cori.
Okay.
He's not faking.
No, he's not.
Look at all this shit.
Yeah.
This seems like an opportune time to investigate the surrounding area and look for anything suspicious.
Let's do that.
Okay. Let's walk away from the puddle of viscera.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Is it obvious I thought Powder was going to be here when I initially wrote this?
Okay.
All right.
I don't have any sort of internal security systems that you've seen, do they?
Not that I've seen, but I wasn't really looking. I look.
Let's see if there's a
Okay,
fucking camera around anywhere.
Looking for internal... You do see 1 surveillance camera that seems like it's... You know how 3D printers and stuff, people will stick webcams to them to monitor what's going on if they need to walk away?
Yeah.
It does seem like up near the observation deck there is one of those monitoring cameras. Probably has a decent view of all of this. And Rerun, you at least probably would have noticed when coming in, there is, outside of this room, there is like a access port and screen, presumably for monitoring and stuff.
Let's go give it a look.
Okay.
So yeah, you head outside of the vat to where the inputs for the monitoring are. Whoever wants to check it, give me a difficulty 3 computers. No setbacks because you have the access codes for this facility.
Sure.
Kella would have given that to you. Or Kaya. Why do I keep... Tell us a
Difficulty 3?
Difficulty 3, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
4
yeah.
successes and an advantage.
Yeah. So, yeah, you start to access the the cameras, and the first thing you notice is that it seems like the cameras, but also like the monitoring inputs for like temperature. Why am I using like so much? For temperature, sound, stuff like that is all fried. It like currently not active, but you go back through the old security footage trying to find the last thing that isn't fried, because this station still has that information. The last screens that you can find are of Gwym, the Rhodian, sort of kneeling down, seemingly using a wrench to mess with a socket on this wall, before his astromech starts beeping urgent, erratic. You can't quite make it out from this distance, but it doesn't sound like binary that you're familiar with, either of you. And then the footage cuts out. With 4 successes, as you're sort of scrolling back between those last few seconds, you definitely catch like the electricity on the fan starting to charge up, almost as though it's surging right before everything shorts out. It's a decent guess that that's what shorted out these cameras.
I look over it, Rerun.
Clearly, there is an assassin who can transform their physiological form into straight energy. It murders the biological organisms and then kidnaps the droids for later sustenance. Don't look at me. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
I was gonna say I was potentially with you up until the end. I was open to the possibility.
I mean, if that is what's true, I'm going to start writing HoloNet scripts for making money from here on out. But you know,
I mean, you should anyway. But I suppose then you gotta go Union, and that's probably not the thing you want to do with the Empire right now.
Nope.
All
Plus,
you need is
the Empire makes you go to entertainment conventions, and those are the worst.
And then, God forbid, you write something critical of the Emperor.
Right.
Because then he mocks you at his rallies.
Yes, he does.
The Emperor would like to remind... The Emperor doesn't go out, but he'd like to remind everyone that he still looks very young and very pretty.
Also, he has completely normal-sized hands.
The first part of that's actually Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
The Empire puts a lot of propaganda money into making sure no one realizes the Emperor is a person that ages.
Yep. The normal hands is just a bonus.
His hands are not crinkly.
Right.
Is more accurate to
Yep.
course, but...
Oh, so you're saying that he uses tax money on skin creams? I'm sorry, I'll stop now. Oh, the meta jokes are strong with this one.
Half of our viewers. Which, frankly, if we have, bye guys.
If you can't stand someone joking about someone you like, maybe don't be a dick about it.
I was gonna say maybe don't be on the internet, but okay, that works too.
All right, so call it 38 minutes is the point where this episode went off the rails. Despite Aaron's best efforts.
No, this is
Okay.
a new record for how long it's taken.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
But there's, yes, fatality involving unnecessary levels of electronic surge, apparently.
mm-hmm.
And
And this is not Wait a minute. This is not new. It's happened before, so if we're gonna figure it out, all those Detective Hollow novels I read were always like find the pattern, find what's similar between the people.
Okay. They're all dead.
Besides that.
Okay. They all worked here. They all had an astromech. Mm-hmm. All the astromechs vanished afterwards.
Right. We need to know more about these people.
Okay.
We find motive. We... Step 1, find motive. Step 2... Step 3...
Profit.
Find killer.
Oh. Okay.
Step 4, profit.
Okay. So what you're saying is that this plan is 25% more complicated than your standard plan.
Correct.
Okay. All right, then.
Let's go see if we can...
Should we talk to Kaya and ask what she knows about the other dead
see
folks?
what she can find about employment records, or see what she can tell us about all of these other people. What she can tell us about the astromech droids.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they all have a connection. Like, there's got to be something that's connected. If we are assuming they all that they all died due to accidents, and that these accidents are connected somehow and are purposeful and not just shoddy workmanship.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a reason. And somebody's doing this well enough to they're not just walking up behind them, shooting them in the back of the head.
And
You
then...
guys want to head to Kaya's office?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, takes you a little ways to get there. Cori, you do have to show your badge when you sort of enter the administrative area.
Yep.
It's not judgmental or anything. It seems to be a fairly standard check.
And she's like, "Hi, I got a badge. See, badge."
The guard goes,
Supposed to be here.
"Very good, Miss. Please."
Doesn't matter. I have a badge.
Yes, you would have a badge.
It's a piece of...
Very
And
proud
Rerun
of
holds out a piece of flimsy that just says, I can do what I want.
Yes.
He
It's
doesn't
okay.
seem like he's
I
inclined
have
to
a
question.
permit.
You don't need a permit. They're just going to assume the astromech is fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so you head to Kaya's office. She seems to be buried in a good deal of paperwork, but she looks up when you come. Oh, Cori, Rerun. Is there anything I can help with?
Yeah. So, how best to put it?
Somebody
The people
shocked
that-
Wim to death and then they stole his organs from the inside without cutting him open.
Oh.
Or
Yeah.
potentially I have a working theory that conceivably the electricity liquefied his organs. That's a possibility, I suppose.
Okay.
That's what the serial killer sites say.
Okay.
But we don't know that
Well.
this is a serial killer. Well, technically, if he killed multiple people, he is a serial killer. Once you get past 3, you are officially a serial killer, even if you're doing it for money or like you're not doing it because you're crazy. You're still a serial killer, because serial just means ongoing, multiple.
3
Hi.
plus. 3 plus
Hi.
victims.
What can I do to
So
help with this?
we know there have been at least 3 other accidents.
5.
5, yes,
5
5.
total. Not obviously in the last week, just over the past 2 years.
Right. So if we're assuming that these weren't accidents, which I think is our running theory at the moment, really more of a hypothesis than a theory. Anyway, if we're running off of that, then there has to be something that connects them. There has to be a motive, a reason why you go after these people, and do it in an inconspicuous enough way that it's not just like, knock on the door in the middle of the night. Hello.
Right. Well.
And then grab the astromech.
Okay. Yes, I can see why that's a thought. As far as the previous victims, there was Rob. Let me just get the files, and she sort of rummages under her desk and seems to select a few things from a set. Obviously, these aren't the only accidents that have happened. They're just the only unexplained ones where a droid went missing.
Right.
Every other one made sense. There was a guardrail that was faulty. Someone unfortunately died to that. There was an incident with some unsecured power lines. There was a person who successfully completed suicide, but none of those seem related to this. But there's Rob Garrett, who, not exactly 2 years ago, but around the time I started, and I don't know if this happened at all before I was here. The records when I got here were not particularly thorough. Rob was working on some of the sewage systems when he died to some sort of accident. No one was ever sure what caused it.
Species?
And human.
Okay.
And he died, and the astromech that was with him was nowhere to be seen, and we couldn't find them. Didn't ever check in. We did try, but just entirely missing. There's Barrett. She was the next one. She was working in one of the other refineries on fan maintenance, and typically that's a job we have multiple people do, but she was confident she could do it alone, and we were short-staffed at the time, so she and her astromech counterpart were there, and seems like either she fell or some other sort of accident, but again, her astromech was missing. Same story. Coit was, again, it was pre-standard maintenance work. I think it was in no, actually, it says right here it was in one of the bathrooms. Just no one was able to determine the cause. It was labeled an accident. Missing astromech. Diana was the most recent one, and while her astromech was missing, her prior to, well, hers was a little bit different. She wasn't necessarily in maintenance. She was just doing some practice stuff. She'd asked to corner off a bit of the facility so she could run some experiments about alternate metrics that might have a lower fail percentage. But again, seemingly an accident, missing droid. And then you saw...
Yeah.
Yes. So Barrett, female human?
Twi'lek.
Twi'lek, Coit, demographics?
Rodian.
And Ilana?
Human.
Okay. All right. So, no expressed gender or species consistency.
Was there somebody that they all reported to specifically?
Me.
Just you.
That's how I know about this. I
Right.
wouldn't necessarily know if they weren't my people. That's not to mean I don't care. It's just that these are the people I'm responsible for, the
Right,
mechanics in
right,
the facility.
All right. Can we change tactic then? What records do you have on the 5 missing droids?
Yeah.
Sure. There you go. All of the names are in chat.
Sweet.
I don't have much. All of the droids that work here are from the same line, same production line. Had a large number sort of at once, and I think we usually manage to maintain decently good relations, but in terms of records, I just have their numbers. They're all R2s, R2, R239, R257. They're in facility designations, but unfortunately, we don't keep much in the way of personal records. Is there something specific you're looking for?
Well, they're all R2 models, so that's
All same R2 model, if that helps
Okay.
any. Same
Is there
production
anything
line, same.
particular about those one? Like
Aside
unique,
from-
different from the others.
About, I mean, they were all part of the droids. There's sort of 3 main categories of where the R2 droids are. Sort of standard assistants around the administrative parts of the office. R2-113 is the one that helps out for me around here. And there's those that are part of the standard refinery processes or help with the security. And then there's droids who are assigned to specific mechanics. All of these droids were assigned to their mechanics.
Right.
They all got along pretty well. Now that I think about it, these were some of the best mechanics we had. I'm not trying to say corporate sabotage makes much sense. They weren't necessarily revolutionizing anything, but they were all really skilled, seemed to have good relationships with their counterparts.
Right. Yeah, no, as far as corporate sabotage go, usually you target research and development, scientific consultants, things like that.
Not the people repairing stuff.
Right. Or if, you pretend to be someone repairing stuff so that you can get in and sabotage things, but that's not at all what was being done here.
Not that we have any experience with that.
Speak for yourself.
Of course not. I didn't mean to imply such a thing.
Is there any potential that these droids, would they have been exposed to or privy to any proprietary information that might be valuable to a competitor that you can think of?
Theoretically, from a corporate standpoint, it's my sort of the corporate line would be that all of our information is proprietary information. Every part of our process and our setup is. But in terms of genuinely things that our competitors wouldn't know or be able to guess otherwise, no. The droids that work with R&D might, but those assigned to mechanics, unless you really want to know the detailed layouts of something like the sewage system. But again...
Which, honestly, if you're looking for that, you're going to hire a slicer. You're not going to kidnap as many droids as it takes in order to parse that together.
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as something that would be particularly challenging for them to get their hands on other ways.
So that...
These are my people. I'm supposed to be able to answer these questions. I'm supposed to know why they might have gone missing, but I just have no idea.
Right. So, did the droids or people, have any aside from working the same generic, because I mean these are deaths that occurred a long period of time apart. Some of these people are trainees, so I assume probably weren't there when other people died. The other people on this list died, etc.
Sounds morbid in this context, but they're decently high turnover positions, unrelatedly.
Right. Did they have any mutual friends? Either the droids or the people, or the organics that you know of. Obviously, you don't know everything about every bit of their personal life. Or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't judge.
Not that I am aware of. You could ask the other mechanics droids, potentially. I don't know if there's anyone they were all particularly close to. I don't know about the others, but I tried to be more involved. Maybe feeling valued would make accidents less likely, something like that. Sort of things they tell you when they promote you to upper management.
Right.
I can say Gwyn was always friendly. I don't think he had any enemies, but he wasn't terribly social. He kept to himself most of the time, aside from working with his droid. Never mean to anyone. I never got any complaints. HR never got any complaints, but...
Okay, so a couple things.
He wasn't going out for beers, I guess.
Right.
Sure.
This may not be standard, or maybe it is, but could you have somebody here do an autopsy?
I tried. That was my first thought. I got, it's not worth that much to the company. The time and specialty of an autopsy team is beyond what...
Let's go rerun. Can you do an autopsy?
No. I mean, yes, I can cut him up and lay him out, but it's not going to be pretty, and I'm not going to be able to tell you anything from what happens after I do.
not exactly my area of expertise, but I mean, we put together fucking hyperspace engines. How difficult can taking apart and diagnosing a dead body be?
The taking apart is fairly easy. The diagnosing... See, the thing with hyperspace engines...
Sure there's a textbook
The
out
things
there
with
we can read.
hyperspace engines is that all the pieces are discrete, solid objects for the most part, and you can
Right.
lay them... Organics are all soft and squishy, and you pull something out, and you're not sure if you actually have the entire piece or not, and there's no carbon scoring half the time, and the pH is all out of whack,
very
and
uncomfortable.
And we're completely ignoring
Yeah.
her. So at the very least, we can look under the hood and see if, like, the organs were removed somehow,
or if they're
or
just...
melted.
I mean, that we could probably be able to tell at least. Also,
I'm
what...
sure I can get I'm sure that there are textbooks on the HoloNet somewhere. How hard?
That's what I'm saying. It's not
We
hard.
learned it-
It's all soft and gooey and messy and impossible to parse one bit from the other half the time.
Ugh.
I mean, unless you're Powder, who apparently decided to, do that with their life. Listen, they're great. I just don't understand them. Also, we should tinker with whatever that wrench he left behind was with, or whatever.
Wait, what?
You pointed out his hydro spanner was still attached to one of the spigots or sprockets or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah. For
and
real.
if that's the thing that he was working on when the accident happened,
You're not wrong.
Kaya, do you have any
Sabotage.
technical readouts of the energy
Human
consumption for that vat, specifically the electrical arcs
I
above
mean,
the cooling fan?
Sure. We've got specific draw for the fan. We've got the heating systems beneath and she'll start pulling something up on her data pad. That's weird. There's a spike. And she'll sort of show it to you. Everything's off, so it's sort of operating at this level, and there's sort of a straight line of energy consumption. Occasionally, you'll have to ramp up if there's some anomaly detected. It just because security systems, but it should just be standard. But here it seems like something shorted it out and drew a whole bunch of power at once.
How long did that last?
That would have been right around the time he died, too.
How long does the spike last for?
5 seconds, maybe.
Right.
Obviously, it's hard to tell how long the actual duration of it would be. That's just how long the power consumption is. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that in her voice. That's what you can read.
Right. No worries. Okay. Well, we will, with that clarifying information, we will go resume the investigation and see what we can find.
Yep.
All right. I gotta get
In
back to work.
case we do decide to look deeper into the corpse, is there a place we can do that's not out in the middle? I mean, I'm okay with that if you're okay with
and
that.
she'll
but
sort of
supposedly they're supposed to be sterile.
give me your badge for a second.
Yeah.
She'll sort of slide it into her pad, slide it back out, and rattle off a lab number.
Okay.
Should get you in there.
Awesome.
Are there any current corporate or financial difficulties that this refinery is having to deal with, or has been having to deal with in the past, say, 8 months or so, or however long it's been since this shit started?
Not that I'm aware of. this is a large-scale refinery that, as awful as it is from corporate perspective, the death of a few people is negligible financially, even if they pay the full settlement, which they did in all of the cases. They paid the full
blips on the radar. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So when we get out, I'm like, all right, I've got. How about? I think you should talk to to some of the droids.
Okay.
See if the astromech droids had. There are things that are going to tell you that they wouldn't tell me or tell you if I was there.
Sure.
And you can maybe look into that home. I'll see what I can find by digging into, well, yeah,
Sounds good.
by being powder.
Right. I'm not going to fuck with the wrench on the spigot until you're there as well, though.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, who are we following first?
Let's follow Cori.
Okay.
Sure.
So
you transport the body to
Yeah.
the lab, I assume?
yes, I have a question.
Yep.
I grew up on Nar Shaddaa.
Mm-hmm.
I know people on Nar Shaddaa. Is there a chance that I know somebody there who is skilled in anatomy who can give some advice? If not there, then I can contact the Shaper.
So the Shaper doesn't necessarily know tons about anatomy himself.
No, but he has connections.
But yeah, you could get a connection through him. You also know people on Nar Shaddaa who might be quicker to get in contact with.
That is my preference
Yeah.
because this
It
group
would be
seems
a
on the
favor.
whole.
You'd
That's
probably have to pay him back later in some way or another if you can't wire him credits right now. But yeah, you know a few people.
Okay, that is preferable because this group as a whole seems somewhat hesitant to working with the Shaper on a regular basis. So yeah, I will contact someone on Nar Shaddaa. See,
Yep.
underground doctors, assassins,
Okay.
serial killers,
Yeah,
whoever
you-
might be able to help.
You sort of plug your pad in, and through coded frequencies you're familiar with, you probably go for serial killers last. But
Yes,
why
no,
don't
that
you
would be the
roll me
last.
a knowledge underworld check? Just difficulty of 3.
Okay.
See how close to what you need you'll get.
3
Yeah.
successes and 2 threats.
Yeah, he's not. Actually, I do have a few people that are Nar Shaddaa specific that I could pull up.
Yeah.
You know a guy. His name is Spike. He's not
Spike. I like
the
him already.
Yep, me too.
stable sort.
Sounds
but-
like Spike.
He does modifications, autopsies, fixes people up, and does a little bit of murder on the side, but that's not his focus. He's mostly in the cybernetics game, but he'd definitely be able to help you with this.
I'm not
Okay.
a murderer. I'm an artist and a medic with some extracurricular hobbies.
Yeah, so you know a guy named Spike. That's probably not his actual name,
Right.
obviously.
So yeah, I will hit. I will make contact with.
Yep. And
Spike.
after a few minutes, this fairly lean hut picks up. Well, Cori, and I think you speak Huttese, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It would make a lot of sense given your entire backstory. I was
Yes.
just checking. Yeah. So you don't actually require a translator for this. So he picks up, sees you, and waves his sort of floating, not necessarily protocol droid, but more like repurposed scout unit that can say words to translate them
Right.
away. Cori Tane, I have not heard from you in quite some time, love.
Hi. How you doing?
I've been
I
great. Business
re-
is always booming, of course. But
cool.
I can squeeze someone in if you have need of it.
No, not like that. Not like that. So I've got a proposition. I've got a proposition for you. I know
I'm
you like
listening.
challenges. How would you like to do an autopsy from multiple star systems away?
Hmm. You always bring such interesting little tidbits. It's not going to be free, of course, but you can pay me back when you have the time or
Absolutely.
credits if you can't wire them at the
I'm a little
moment.
short at the moment, but yeah,
I trust we
absolutely.
can work something out. Sure,
Sure.
I don't mind. And what are we looking at today?
Voomp.
Okay. They'll sort of give. And
I will quickly jury rig something that mounts the data
yeah,
pad on my shoulder. So I will be the hands that tries not to vomit into the body, and he will be.
yeah. So he's gonna do the actual medicine part, but you're gonna need to make 2 checks. First, you're gonna need to make me just a.
Lightsaber?
Let's go with a discipline or cool, your choice roll.
I feel like coordination is going to come in here somehow.
Just for keeping your cool. Difficulty 1.
Okay.
Just for you are working pretty explicitly with a body.
3 successes.
Okay. Yeah, and it bothers you, but not tons. I think, or rather, you're able to do it. You're able to just be like, let's
I mean,
get this done.
It smells like shit, and but let's be honest, it's not that much grosser than being doused in used oil or
Yeah.
anything like that. If you think
you're
if
able
you
to
keep it on that level.
depersonalize it to
Yeah.
that level. So yeah, we're gonna go with coordination difficulty of 2, but with 2 boost dice for the additional successes you got on your cool.
Okay.
Hot damn.
Apparently, I have a career as a mortician.
Or rather, as a mortician's hand,
Yes.
essentially. But yeah,
I mean, the
you're
rest of it's
doing
just
fine,
folklore.
and you're giving him quite the convenient. He's not gonna have any setbacks to doing this. But yeah, over the next half hour, Spike will slowly, confidently, curiously, occasionally humming and hawing, and probably messing with you at a few points, being like, poke that,
Right.
poke it again, poke it again.
Uh,
Oh, we don't need that.
Poke it until it squirts you in the face. Okay, we're good. Moving on.
I
Walk
totally
you
have
through
welding,
dismantling
like a
this
welding
body,
mask
and
on.
even though you're not making the medicine checks, just from what he says and also from your general knowledge of logic in terms of anatomy, there are bits missing inside.
Okay.
There's definitely, like, all of the brain matter has been souped. It's rather grotesque, and yeah, you sort of run through this sort of thorough, bit-by-bit dismantling.
Mm-hmm.
And we will come back to your results with that after we've talked to Rerun.
Cool.
So Rerun, Cori heads off in one direction. You head off to the droid area of the facility where apparently those who aren't on shift or are powering back up tend to hang out.
Right.
Um,
Hello.
When you enter, it's very obvious that every astromech here is from the same batch, has the same paint job, exact same chassis and size.
It's
even R2s tend to vary a bit.
It's the West Virginia of droids. Oh God.
That is a way to put it.
Okay. So yeah, he'll wheel in, kind of scan around the room. He's looking for anybody who's off by themselves.
Yeah, quite a few people look over. You are quite the curiosity in here. Make me just a cool roll for insight. Difficulty 2.
Okay. One failure, one advantage.
There's not necessarily anyone by themselves, but conveniently someone is pretty quickly wheel up to you. Hey, I haven't seen you around before. What do you need?
Some of you are missing.
Oh, about...
And he'll rattle off the designation. Yeah.
Yeah. Gwim's pal. What do you need? Need about him?
Well, we're trying to figure out where they've gone.
I don't know. Search me. They've asked. They even did a restraining bolt test, which time first one went missing. No one's running away or nothing. And we got paid decently. Great accommodations.
He'll give a rather disgruntled beep at the sound of restraining bolts. Does anybody still have a bolt on them here?
Nah. No, it's just like, hey, we need to be absolutely sure that you guys aren't up to anything as a collective group. So we're gonna put a few truth serums on the people that works on, you know.
Still not okay. All right.
Sure.
Have there been any...
You're a spring chicken, aren't you?
At that point, he will get very self-important. And he will give this individual a full rundown of his military expertise, his experiences with the Republic, and the fact that he could probably... Never mind, we're not going to talk about how we could dismantle this place. That's a topic for another conversation later on at a different date.
You, good sir, can fuck right off.
This random day job mechanic looked deeply unimpressed, but okay, great sir of the military, what do you need?
Well, we are trying to solve this issue. Have there been any thoughts, rumors, suspicions, or anything weird that y'all have noticed?
I mean, don't know if the fleshy ones care about this, but those were good folks. Those were good folks that went missing. Most of them were quite on the talented end of those we work with here. Droids too. Good teams. It doesn't matter to corporate or anything, but all of those groups could do it faster, better than any of the other groups. And now, I like Jason. I like my partner just fine. I think we do good work, but we're not top of the class. All of them were.
So if these are targeted incidents, they're picking off the higher echelons.
Yep.
Okay then. He'll play back the weird binary that 59 or whoever Gwim's.
Yeah.
Did you know what they're saying?
Kinda. That's just factory code. It's a reset beep. I wouldn't know it because if I wasn't from the same batch, but we're all siblings here, so it's started to short circuit, I'd guess.
When he says reset beep, as in something's happening that's sort of resetting the droid?
Roll me a mechanics difficulty 2 with a boost die for being an astromech.
Okay. 2 successes, 3 advantage.
With 2 successes and 3 advantages, to your mind, that sort of reset beep, you've never had this necessarily, is like when you are first turned on in the factory, there is essentially a factory code that's like, this is this full serial number droid. That's kind of a turn on the droid. It's just a check to make sure everything's working. What he's talking about, especially with, you wouldn't necessarily use this term, but lower end production, that could be what it boots up to after.
Oh, it's the Windows startup chime.
It's less the Windows startup chime and more when you try and start up Windows and you just get the command screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's your BIOS. It's your BIOS prompt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your BIOS prompt. It's a little more basic than that. It's like this. I haven't done tons of computer stuff. It's the sounds you might hear when a BIOS prompt starts up.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. A surge of electricity, something shutting off the droid on a more fundamental level could trigger that code. And it makes sense that wouldn't have made sense to you as words in binary. It's really
because it's not meant to be words, right?
it's not really words. It's more a random sequence of letters.
All right. What is the worst part of this refinery?
What's the worst part to work in? Worst part to
worst part to work in, or worst aspect of working here? Worst aspect of the employment that they provide.
I mean, worst part of the refinery for me is the basement level. There's a sub-basement beneath it that they cut off years ago. And he just goes on this long spiel about how it's a little bit rickety and they can't feel it with their feet, but if you run across it with wheels, you know it's a little bit bumpy, that the sediment beneath this area was never filled in properly.
Unstable terrain, that whole thing. All right.
Yeah. It doesn't strike you as an immediate safety hazard, but it's definitely like the thing an employee bitches about.
Right.
It's bouncy, especially if there's a lot of people running through that area. Just like slight nausea. It's like being on a ship, but you're not on a ship, so you can't just turn on the ship settings and not deal with it.
And then he'll show him the sprocket with the wrench on. You're familiar with maintenance around here. What's this one do?
The sprockets bring in and take out all of the whatever substance they're refining today. So every so often, usually once every 2 or 3 months, for each area, they shut it all down, and we go in and make sure that none of the sprockets are malfunctioning.
Right. Clogs.
So looks like that one either was malfunctioning or was a little bit loose or something, and you put a wrench on it, or we check it first. We use the input data pad to order it to send a little test substance down, rescind the test substance. Then the ones with hands go in and screw it on tighter, clear out whatever clog there is once you've diagnosed the issue.
Okay.
Pretty standard.
If you're interacting with one of those, is there any reason that it might prompt an electrical surge, say through the cooling fan above?
No, not unless the fan was like at 400, 500 times what it does. Fans spark sometimes when they're doing the bigger experiments, but that's only when the vat's full.
Right. There's no need for that to be running at high power when there's nothing in the vat in the first place.
No. It keeps running because if you shut it down, it takes a lot to restart the fan.
Sure. Inertia. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's just running on its default low energy settings. So
Okay.
there shouldn't be any reason for the fan to spark.
If someone was to intentionally induce an overload of the fan, how would they have to do that?
Roll me a... Roll me a negotiation.
Okay. Difficulty 3? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, God. My life for a light side point. Anyway.
Sorry. I haven't wanted to fuck you guys over.
Nah, it's all good.
No, that's fair. No problem.
Wow. 1 success, 1 advantage.
Okay, or 1 threat.
Or 1 threat, sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With 1 success, he looks over you. Look, like, I don't trust you tons. Let's get that on the field right now. You're a random guy.
Oh, it's okay. I have a permit.
That's not a permit. You just wrote, I can do what I want on a piece of paper.
It's as good as it gets.
But, not going to tell you how to do it on a technical level, but you'd probably want to put something up on the fan in the right input valve, or do something digitally through the settings that the R&D department uses.
Okay. And he'll give this droid kind of the baseline of, here's what we know so far.
Mm-hmm.
Gwym is definitely dead. His astromech is definitely missing. And it was precluded by the fan apparently freaking out, his astromech doing the reset code beep thing. And we're here to try and figure out what's doing this so that it stops and none of the rest of you go missing. So basically the standard police, well, here's what I can tell you about the investigation. Yeah. If you think of anything else, here's my card.
Yeah, and he'll sort of roll his eyes, but okay, dude. See ya. And yeah, as you two meet back up, we'll get to Cori's conclusions. After having fully opened up the body, Spike will start walking you through what's in there and what's not. So, lots of bits are missing from here, and some of them, I'd say, high jolt electrical spike to a Rhodian system, you lose some of these things. The brain's gonna fry. You saw that. You can also sort of see along the back of the neck, you've got some burns that would support that analysis.
I definitely saw that.
Yep.
It's fine.
But
Keep going. I gotcha.
Oh, I love you so much. I'd even give you a discount. What am I saying? No, I won't.
You already said it. Too late.
No takebacks.
Do you really want to get into a price argument with the Hut right now, dearie?
I mean, my hands are already dirty at this point, literally. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Thinking about charging you extra. Now I already said that. Do you want me to take that back? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. So, what else you got here is lots of bits that were not vaporized, or were, rather, they were definitely vaporized, but they weren't, not by the same systems. Shock, yeah, you get rid of some of these things, but other bits and pieces, the stomach, the heart, they might end up a little scorched, but they should still be in place. And actually, if the jolt is short enough, I wouldn't even expect them to be particularly scorched. You can kind of tell with the intestines right here, or that's not vaporization that's going down, and that's not the stomach got vaporized and now the intestines are hanging loose. That's this thing got, I don't know, moved out somehow or another. Or without being there and with the equipment you've got, I can't determine how this might have happened, but I'd guessed it was some kind of organ harvest. They wanted certain bits. They wanted the brainstem.
Right.
They wanted the heart, the stomach, these muscles in the upper arm.
If you wanted those parts for some reason, why would you want them?
I mean, if we were dealing with a rare species or something, I might want them for trade. Anything's heart goes for a decent price on the market, but stomachs, Rhodian stomachs especially, less so. They don't keep well. I might want them because I have a different client I might want to transplant them into. I might want them for recreational purposes, let's just say. But it's not like you're looking at anything that sells particularly. If you wanted to sell these bits, you could just jab a knife into someone in a back alley. Be just as easy. At least for me.
Okay. And if I said you don't necessarily know how, but just to theorize, how would you remove these things without having, gestures that they opened up?
Without knives or blades or spikes. How would I?
I'm assuming you can't just tractor beam this shit out the mouth.
You can, but it ends up messy, and you wouldn't end up with the bits as precisely.
Right.
Also, you'd need a very specific kind of tractor beam. Don't get me into all the issues that come with downsizing that technology for medical. Entirely legal, of course. At least where I am. But you could potentially actually, just flip him over. I'm gonna look at one thing.
Right. Okay.
Well, that is going to a lot of effort for not much gain. But because he made his check, these seams right here. If you have essentially portable Bacta, you can quickly seal seam wounds. So very precise tools are specifically designed to clip out these bits, yank them out the thinnest possible exit around the bones and the spleen and stuff like that. You remove it, you seal it up very quickly, and even with a newly dead patient, it doesn't leave much of a mark. I would say your friend, whoever he is, He's had very specific things he wanted and very specific tools to do the job, and quite a lot of experience with that kind of tools. I wouldn't expect, even with such tools, that he could get very far with this before he'd need a lab like you've got. Or some other sort of setup.
Right. Okay. Well, that gives us potentially something to start with. All right. Anything else you can think of that might be useful?
Well, if you could tell me if there was anything else missing or anything else you found at the scene.
Droid.
Missing
Astromech
droid?
Astromech droid.
Now that does change things. He kind of licks his lips and let me grab something real quick for demonstrative purposes. And he sort of rustles around in the background and sort of pulls out about half of a medical droid chassis. Clearly there's no internals to it right now. It sort of dangles. So, this. Now, the new thing in biotechnics, and pioneered by a fascinating gentleman that tends to go by Rufu in my circles, is integration. There's some very high-class projects where things like automated hearts are placed into otherwise living humans, or stuff like that. Very rarely does any of it succeed, but you can also do the opposite. You can stick a... And he sort of pulls something off of one of his tables. This is a human brain. You can just throw that in with all the tech, and if you wire it up right, you can use it. If the droid's also missing, could be some sort of trendy new topic. I am quite interested to see the results of such a thing.
So...
Oh, you mean like that girl we have on our ship? Hmm? Rerun's not here
Inverted,
yet.
but yes.
In reference to the first thing that he was mentioning, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Of course.
Um,
Thank you for such an interesting afternoon.
I thought you'd appreciate.
Indeed. Well, stop by anytime you're on Nashadal and need anything, want to start paying back that debt, or just want to talk.
Yeah, sure. Next time I'm on Narshad, I absolutely will. Bye.
Goodbye.
As he
And
looks
about
down-
that's about the time you come in.
Okay.
Looks down at the body, is like, I guess I'm gonna clean this up. Turns around.
Well, I'm back.
Okay, how'd it go?
Apparently, they don't believe that we're here to help, but other than that, I was able to pull a little bit of information. All the squads that have been picked off have apparently sort of been the top of the class, as it were. Also, if you were intentionally going to send a surge through the systems that we observed, you would probably have a apparatus attached to the fan circuitry itself, so we may want to go up and poke around at that. What'd you find in the puddle?
So he was definitely killed.
Yeah.
Point. Organs removed. Ah.
How?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. how much detail does Rerun have on the, shall we say, more defining characteristics of General Grievous?
Roll me... General Grievous specifically, roll me Knowledge Warfare difficulty 4.
Okay. This is going to be great.
There is a chance you were on the right ship at the right time to know about this, but it's a low chance.
Oh, what a chance! 2 successes, 3 threats.
3 threats. So, you've worked under Jedi generals before, and you are aware of Grievous being one of the most threatening major commanders that the Republic faced during the Clone Wars. You also would know, because just your personal interests, that Grievous had an interest in putting bits in himself.
But
like eyes. You would actually, with 2 successes, potentially also be aware that he would specifically target Force users.
Right.
But like with that, with 3 threats, nothing bad happens because you know that it's a knowledge roll.
But I'm not aware of Grievous's actual identity as a cyborg. That he was originally a biological being who...
No, you're not aware of Grievous's specific cyborg identity, as that was not knowledge available to the Republic military at the time you were serving.
Right. Okay.
You do know that, at least in terms of rumor and speculation, he wasn't
100% robot.
Forced user parts to his robotic aspects.
Yep.
But it doesn't strike you that this is his MO.
Right.
Even if he wasn't definitely destroyed.
Yeah. But so I'm marginally aware of the existence of the phenomena, but not with any level of specificity.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that glass matches some of those descriptions too.
Right.
But
yeah,
she's
that's
off being with the other group.
That's some old Republic military scuttlebutt horror story rumor shit. We got going here. People killing people to put them in droid bodies. Yeah. Well, I stopped thinking about the potential horrific consequences of this. Let's go look at that fan.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you head up there. Again, this entire area has been basically cleared out, and you have freedom to walk around wherever you'd like. The observation deck and the fan that's slightly below it are deserted. There are a few consoles that seem to be more for monitoring whatever might end up being in the vat. There is one for monitoring the fan itself. And then there's this large swirling fan with electricity that sort of runs through it, and electric grills on either side.
Okay. Rerun's gonna give it a scan over and see if he can find any evidence of tampering, unnecessary modifications, that sort of thing.
Mechanics difficulty of 3.
Okay. Hey, 4 successes, 2 threat.
Yep, you almost... trying to use my threats properly. You almost tip over the edge trying to grab it, and you can't, grab for it right now. You just don't have the arms.
Right.
But you do see, sort of affixed to where the large power lines for the fan connect to the circle within which the fan blades are, a sort of strange little square stick with a beeping edge on it. And that's not part of any design spec that you're familiar with for
Hey,
something
Cori.
like this.
Hey, Cori. Look. Look at that. You've got
There's
longer
a
arms. Can you
stick
grab?
jetting out of the fan?
Can you grab that?
Into the fan.
Yeah. It's not in the fan. It's on.
Oh, good.
It's on the power line that reaches towards the fan.
I stick my hand into the
Not
rapidly spinning.
necessarily better, but it just don't worry. It's just attached to the power line. Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yep.
But that is what she does.
Yoink.
Yeah, you can pull it off pretty easily. Rerun just couldn't reach it with 2 threats.
Yep.
But yeah, Rerun, if you want to investigate it, computers or mechanics, difficulty 3 again.
Okay. He'll give it a try. And when he fails, Cori can give it a try. Hey, that's a failure,
With a
but also
failure
a triumph.
and a triumph, you pop it open. You have no idea what that circuit board does for some reason.
Cori, this is weird. Can you look at this?
Sure.
Sorry, Jeremy.
No, you're fine. Mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics difficulty 3.
Good thing I checked. I still had the boost die in there. All the successes. Like,
Yeah.
And a triumph.
Okay. So
4 successes,
With
a
it-
triumph, and 2 threats.
Yeah. With the thing properly open, you just sort of pull around in it, and it's easy enough for you to tell that this is. It seems like it's primarily a timer. Whenever this was attached, it was set, and once the time that was set on it has elapsed, it would essentially use the little bits of energy it had siphoned and stored to jolt the power line and overcharge the fan, electrocuting this entire room.
Oh, so it was a surge inducer.
Yep.
Essentially, yes. It was a
The murder
timed surge
weapon.
inducer.
We have the smoking circuit board.
We do.
And that definitely was also what blew out the cameras. Yeah. With a triumph,
We need to backtrace the components.
you could. That would take a long time to source where all of these circuits came from, especially if they're secondhand. But with a triumph, this was definitely placed here manually, and the other thing that strikes you is that you couldn't just place here manually and hope that there would be a technician here at the time that this goes off. It would almost certainly have been placed with enough time that the person could leave, but someone who had direct access to, okay, this person is definitely here at this time, like through the camera systems, through some other thing, they knew that this person was here.
It's an inside job.
I mean, I think that was. Yeah.
Also, it wasn't a droid that did it.
No, it sounds like.
Because we can't
Or
reach.
it was a droid with arms.
I mean,
Need to go.
there are droids that could do it.
Yeah, just
Helix could do this.
Yeah,
No.
Helix would be a perfect example.
yes. Well, okay.
I don't
Helix
think
is more
Helix
elegant,
did it.
but he could.
I don't think Helix did it, but Helix could do it. And
Mhm.
Helix would not have bothered.
yeah,
No.
the only thing preventing this from being Helix's work is too impersonal.
Yeah, Helix would want to actually shoot them himself.
I mean, I'm sure he doesn't just shoot people, because there are times, I'm sure, where somebody's like, make it look like an accident. You know, like they say it like
Right.
over a hollow vid, like shadowed, like with a hat on that disguises their identity.
Yes. Yes. Make it look like an accident, to which Helix says, I can make it look like I meant to shoot the person next to them and accidentally shot them.
I mean, make it look like an accident, and then a city block explodes.
Right. Because sometimes that...
Gas me.
Right. Power conduit overload. Oh no!
Yep.
That part of the city's gone!
That was definitely an accident.
That was improper engineering. I'm going to blame this person. They're going to be dragged on the media for the rest of their lives. That's okay, I killed a person that I was paid to.
Sorry, William. But yes, Helix has long enough arms to have done this, but you have good reason to suspect that this wasn't Helix.
Yes.
But yeah. You... yeah.
Okay. So, if they are taking biological parts and putting them into droid chassis in order to, for whatever reason, it would also stand to reason that those droid chassis with biological parts are ending up somewhere. And they would need a place, I assume, to do the transplant.
Mm-hmm.
And it would
The
have...
labs.
Well, yes. But are those labs, like, used fairly frequently and able to be accessed by a number of other personnel? And
If you have control, if you have the right level of control.
okay. Should we go back to Kaya and be like, hey, can we get access records for every time somebody's punched into a lab over the last flum to flum period of time? That was supposed to be period of time.
Over the last since dude died.
Yeah.
Sure. So we are putting about, what, 35-40% odds on...
That it's Kaya?
Yeah.
I'd say we're at about a 8 to 5 against.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I would say better than half against, but still significantly for.
But still significantly, yeah. Still
Right.
significantly in the mix.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we were on the same page about that.
Yes, and also, if the labs thing doesn't pan out, there's also the abandoned sub-basement.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought you'd like that. There's like an abandoned or semi-condemned... There's a sub-basement that, like, literally nobody goes down to. And the droids don't
Let's
go
down there.
Okay. I thought you'd say that.
Just for my benefit, where are you going first? Because there's two places said. Back to Kaya to ask
I
about
believe we
records
just went
or
to the
basement.
underground.
I think we're going straight to the abandoned sub-basement.
All right. You guys might like that. But yes, there is an abandoned sub-basement. It takes you a little while to figure out how to fully get there. But yeah.
Oh, question. Is the timer thing still functional?
It kind of got fried when all of the other electronics in this room got fried.
Okay, well, if Rerun can try and repair it on the way down to the sub-basement, he's going to do that.
Sure. Mechanics. Diff 2.
Okay. Oh, damn.
Yeah, you don't even just get the timer part running. You've got the surge part running too, though you'd probably want to use it like on one of the fans to get it to actually work, but full in operational order.
Can he spend his triumph on the give a device a new single-use function?
Within reason.
So the way this thing works is, as I understand your description on it, is that it basically, over a period of time, siphons small amounts of energy from electrical systems and then can sort of release it in one huge pulse, right?
Release it in one huge pulse, which, in the case of the fan, that released pulse led to a larger surge.
Led to a larger chain reaction. Okay.
From the power source.
All right.
This thing cannot contain enough energy to electrocute a huge room.
Right.
But
he would like to try and for a one-time usage make it to the point where it can store itself at least enough of a pulse to incapacitate, if not kill, an average biological sized being. Not necessarily overload an entire room, but
yes.
Okay. And he's going to tweak the setting.
Probably be fried permanently by that time.
Right. He's going to tweak the settings a bit so that it's gradually drawing on his own power sources and start charging it on a trickle.
Yeah. It will take quite a while for it to charge, given it was previously charging off of industrial equipment.
Industrial equipment, yes. Yep, okay.
Rerun does not have as much power as
as a refinery.
But yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
You head down to the basement, and then you find one of the do not enter condemned area access patches for access pouches. That's very 90s of me, but no. It's more of an access hatch than a pouch. Access hatches to the sub-basement. Heading down, Cori, your lungs are immediately caught by the dust. And just general disuse of this place. It smells a bit rusty, a bit moldy. The floor is... If you've ever been in an abandoned building where there's still some tiling, but the ground and earth has started to take back the floor. The ceilings in here are fairly short. Everything's eerily quiet, but sort of creaks on occasion. And looking around, there's no lighting here aside from whatever torch, whatever they call a Star Wars flashlight that you pull out.
Glow rod. They call it a glow rod.
Yeah.
Because we're not allowed to use just actual terminology in sci-fi settings.
I mean, it's called a glow rod because it's more like a very bright glow stick.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But, yeah. The only lighting here is what you've brought with you. You see what look to be essentially basement storage corridors, a very worn sign indicating basement cafeteria this way, a R&D this way, storage this way. In these corridors. Just because I may have totally missed this, what was being looked for beyond the basement itself?
So once we get down there, Rerun's going to look for any sort of conduit or power line or something and see if there's any active energy running to any rooms down here.
Okay. You know what? Let's make this a perception difficulty 2, and I'll flip a dark side point.
Okay. Because it's a wreck down here. All right.
You'd normally be able to find this fairly easily with a mechanics check, but in this case, it's mostly about seeing something.
Oof. One failure, one despair. Damn.
Yeah, no. There might have been power lines, but there's just nothing that your little sort of installed flashlight sees.
Okay.
You just hear the sort of creaking and the dust. Yeah.
Cori, I think we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.
I think you're probably right.
He pulls out a grenade. No, just kidding.
Okay.
Other old-fashioned way.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Run.
With your eyes, not by blowing everything up and killing whatever runs away. Okay.
Jack, did Rerun work under Anakin Skywalker?
I'll leave that up to you.
Seems like he learned a very specific version of Republic military procedure.
We don't know where they've gone, sir. Blow everything up. They can't hide if the planet is missing.
Anakin goes, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And Anakin goes, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, let's find the best way to do this." Alright.
They can't hide if there's nothing to hide behind. So yeah, Rerun will...
That is the worst
501st
policy.
Rerun will just start emanating as much light in the forward direction as he can.
Yep.
And make sure that Cori doesn't disappear from behind him at a spooky, dramatic moment.
Okay. So if I could get both of you just to make me vigilance checks.
Okay.
Difficulty 2, and I'll flip a dark side point on each of those so you have all of them now.
Yeah.
One.
God damn it! I get all the despairs. 2 advantage, but also a despair. No failures, though. That's a really
Diff
difficult...
2 with a dark side upgrade. Vigilance. A threat, but no despairs. I win.
Yes, you do.
Neither of you technically failed. Neither of you succeeded, but neither of you technically failed. So Rerun, Cori, you're both headed in as far as you know the correct direction for labs or something like that. I think that's what you said you were looking for.
Well, I mean, we were in the sub-basement and then, yeah, looking for any evidence that somebody's been operating off the books down here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd probably head towards, like, wherever you might suspect an engineering room is. Where they might. And you're headed largely in the right direction thanks to Rerun. Just headed down the pathways. Maybe something slithers by you, but you don't quite notice. Maybe a camera turns towards you, but you don't quite notice. Which is me trying to do that thing where the camera pulls back and shows the thing players don't know about, except for in tabletop.
I am super duper excited for us to die, and then next game, us revealed to have been life model decoys or some shit the whole time.
Yes!
No, if I'm going to retcon you to being dead, I would have put this way further back in the timeline. Because it wouldn't make sense for it to have only been for a short amount of time. But yeah, as you prowl through this basement, hearing nothing, seeing nothing,
Becoming nothing.
Cori, you feel something. as you're jolted in the back with some electricity.
Ow, 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 this is bad.
And that would be... Let me just check your character sheet real quick. So I'm... 2 strain damage as one of the cables above your head sort of flops down and knocks into you.
My soak applies against that, right?
Yeah, as far as I
Okay.
know.
I have a soak of 2.
Okay, yeah.
So, ow!
So you're fine, but definitely you recognize the sensation of being jolted by an electric cord that you can now see sparking and hanging.
Rerun.
Yes. Oh. Excellent. Here, help me with this. And he pulls his little shock inducer off of himself now. That's some live energy. I want to charge this thing up.
All right.
So yeah, you wait there for the 3 or 4 minutes it will take for it to be charged.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. Rerun, you can still set the timer on this whenever you'd like to, but now it is a charge shock surge thing.
Okay.
Charge anti-surge protector. I don't know.
Basically, it's a contact stun grenade, pretty much.
About at that time, suddenly, you know the lighting they have on airplanes for emergencies that's like along the floor? That sort of lighting starts to light up in front of you, and then spotlights that seem to have previously been reasonably well concealed along the walls sort of flash down and almost blinding both of you for a second and illuminating this corridor. And a carpet of green and blue felt rolls out, landing essentially at whoever of you is standing in front's feet.
This got just got like 72% more threatening.
Right?
You hear staticky, like the old radio soundtrack kind of music of this harp being played slowly. And clearly some kind of recording that occasionally cuts in or out.
Do we want to follow this?
Someone definitely knows you're here.
My mind says yes. The current cleanliness of my pants says no.
Rerun takes a minute to parse that metaphor. Oh. Right. Powder would have caught on to that a lot sooner than I would have. Well, as the one of us who is not wearing any pants, I will go first.
You head along this carpet, accompanied by weird, haunting music. As you get closer, the harp is joined by an organ and more... I don't know. The Star Wars names of these instruments exist, but I'm not going to use them at the moment.
But basically, it's Captain Nemo. We're running into Captain Nemo's lair, pretty much.
Sure. And again, on this sort of Fallout, BioShock, the slightly staticky music playing through the bright spotlighted chamber as you walk down and through an open door to what seems like it may have once been the cafeteria. On either side of the room, lined up against the walls, are maybe a dozen or two decraniated people. Which... Let me try and find the image file for that.
Oh, yay! There's images. I'm so happy.
Just in case you're unfamiliar with decraniated people. Sort of dressed in a black outfit with a matching, essentially top half of their seemingly human ones, top half of the head missing, and a, like, about standard modem-sized slab of technology replacing it. Blank and black.
But they're just standing up against the wall, kind of? They're not actually, like, moving around, per se?
They're not moving around. They seem to just be standing there.
Yeah, we're greeted by the crew of the Nautilus. All right.
My best James Mason impression. Okay, anyway. So, Rerun just...
I don't know the thing Jack is referencing, but okay.
Unless you're familiar with live-action Disney movies from, I don't know, pre-1972, probably.
Live action's not my area of expertise.
That is 100% fine. So, Rerun is just motionless, silent, and his head just swivels around to look at Cori.
Yeah.
And then as quietly as possible, he begins to inch his way across the room.
Okay.
Trying to not be heard or seen.
Make me a stealth roll with 2 setback die because you're on a brightly colored carpet with spotlights on you.
Difficulty
2.
Okay.
But
with
the
all the
setback
setback. Right. All right. Here we go. God damn it. 2 failure, 2 advantage. Sorry.
You're trying not to be heard or seen, and you think you're keeping fairly quiet, but it's really hard not to be seen in the situation I just described.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cori, Rerun is doing the droid equivalent of, like, the creep forward walk, but with the spotlight following him. So, your mileage may vary on how stealthy that is.
Are there any, like, access panels or info ports that he can see?
So as you head across the room, you start to see what becomes illuminated at the far end of. Again, this is like a standard cafeteria. There's the end seems like boards or something were appropriated to make the end of this room into some sort of stage, and as you get closer, curtains pull back on this stage, the sound building to a crescendo. Welcome, one and all. And the music cuts out. It's been so long since visitors joined me for my tests. You're interrupting one of the tests. I hope you to appreciate the hospitality I have offered by postponing vital experimentation for seeing you.
Who
You
can we
don't-
can we see who's doing?
You don't see anyone at the moment, but you do see a flickering blue screen on the far end that's just at the moment just flickering and static. There doesn't, from the part of the curtain that has so far pulled back, you can't see anyone on the stage. But the voice is emanating from the screen.
Okay. Rerun's gonna continue the slow approach.
Valuable research. Fuck, that's a Palpatine voice. It's not Palpatine. Valuable research tests. Experiments. But new blood is always good. Better blood is always good. Seems that you are quite useful, quite talented. I appreciate that, wittingly or otherwise, I was provided such excellent tribute. Rerun, you wheel up to the edge of the stage, try and crane your head up. All you can see is that screen on the far end of it.
Okay.
And the decraniated people standing around the room.
Okay. Yep, he's still trying to see if he can ID the voice or the identity of the speaker or anything.
Roll me a difficulty 4 knowledge underworld check to identify this voice.
Okay. Underworld. Difficulty 4. I'll use a light side point. Why not? Yep, 1 failure, 1 threat. I don't know shit.
No idea. This could... You don't know everyone, and this isn't someone you know.
Okay.
But you're here. Sorry, was there anything Cori wanted to do at this time?
Cori is going to try to sneak up with.
Okay. Stealth check again, 2 setbacks.
Yep.
2 difficulty.
2 setbacks. 2 difficulty. Yeah, what the hell. Point, a destiny point, and let's see if I'm sneaky. Once I get on the right part of the character sheet. I am sneaky!
Hey!
Yeah, you're managing to keep quiet. The spotlight seems to try and follow you, but it doesn't seem to be quite keeping up, so you're trying to keep to as dim a part of the room as you can, without standing up next to the people who've had their heads removed for the purposes of serving as essentially pseudo-droid servants.
All eyes are on me.
Yeah. But where's your little friend? Never mind. I'm sure she wouldn't. No one would miss the show. That would be so disrespectful. No one's disrespectful to me, to Rerun. I am excellent. I am great. Everyone loves my invention. I'm the talk of the town. That stupid mental bullshit. Shit. Back to this. Back to this moment. This experiment. This. If you have sought me out so far, you must want to know the truth. See for yourself the next stage the newest evolutions.
Is there something cylindrical and heavy I can quietly pick up?
Shh. You can spend a light side point to make convenient things automatically true.
Also, I am right here, Jeremy.
That is also true. Rerun would count, though Rerun's fat.
I was thinking more of the pipe variety. Not that
Yeah,
sort of
you can
heavy.
spend a light side point for there to be a conveniently located pipe.
I don't think Cori could pick Rerun up.
With the successful roll, you could pick him up, but he is rather heavy. So yeah, you slide down, grab a pipe. And the curtain pulls back all the way, and Rerun, you see essentially a glass orb containing wriggling bits and pieces of muscle sort of affixed to the outside, and within it just seems to be a vat of organs, both human and like droid pieces, wired together in weird ways. It's about the size of like a large beach ball, and it's clear glass on all ends. And it seems to be rumbling slightly as though it's desperately trying to get off of this podium and end its own existence. A prototype, to be sure, but glorious and beautiful even in such an infantile stage.
That's not a glorious or beautiful scientific accomplishment. That's the leftovers from a butcher shop wrapped up in a circuit board.
Oh, but you do not see. Cori, what do you want to smash?
I'm trying to sneak up on this dude and then hit him over the head with
Just
the pipe.
as a note, there is a screen that's saying these things, and then there's the orb that has the bits of people in it.
Sorry. Then this...
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's what I get. Pipe still has relevance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just holding onto the pipe for the moment.
Okay. The voice will continue. You do not see. You don't understand the truth of things. Not yet. I haven't explained. And the screen will start flickering with random images as though someone is trying to sort image files and suddenly compile.
I need a PowerPoint right now!
Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's like if someone is trying to compile their PowerPoint in the middle of their presentation. And pilots, mechanics, the essential jobs of our society are built on counterpart. Droids, humans, to droids. It doesn't quite matter. But the situation is always the same. There's two, which is inefficient, not enough. Don't you see? We need to combine, to adhere, to make the two things that coexist in symbiote into a single organism. I've done it before. I've done it with myself, with others. Is you need to put the pieces to create something, to become one, to become a grander organism.
Okay, well... And he glances around, hearing that I've done this to myself, and is looking for anything here besides the decraniated people and the muscle ball on the... Is there anything else around here that looks like, oh, this is the personification, this is the core, this is the person who has become
Make me a mechanics difficulty 3.
Okay.
And yeah.
2 successes, a triumph, and 2 threat.
Unless he's very successfully hidden himself as a decraniated person, which doesn't strike you as likely for the grandeur he's the self-importance he's displaying.
Right.
Most likely something either behind or connected to the monitor would be the closest thing you could guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he's gonna wheel his ass up on the stage and go poke at the screen.
Yeah, it's not an easy effort, but you manage to, like, basically wheel yourself up bit by bit onto some of the stuff discarded around the room and make your way onto the stage.
Because you look...
you do...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh. No.
Okay, his lead-in would be like, okay, because you look like a discount holoprojector on the fritz. I'm not seeing much glorious about your new form. Definitely looking around in a very sort of perplexed and confused, but trying to dialogue, you know?
Make me a deception check.
Okay.
Difficulty of 2, and we'll see whether or not he takes the bait.
I'm not great at this, but
Flipping
we will
a
try.
dark side point.
Okay. Flat roll.
Sorry, that is not enough.
No, that's fine. He's fine with just being a holding action for now.
Trick me, you try and deceive me. Yeah, I know I am perfect. I know my true form better than you ever could. But I know this is why you must be perfected. It like my dolls, like everything else. Those once I perfect it doesn't question me anymore. Or it is in perfect form, and you have brought both of the components necessary to perfect yourself.
Wait, are you saying that dissent is not a proper form of communication? How else do you progress scientifically if you can't have people question your presuppositions?
You're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Okay.
Well, actually...
Sorry, what do you want to do?
He's right.
Science
I just
crisis.
wanted to actually someone.
Consent, but perfection requires. Here's me. I am imperfect, and you're still flawed. The experiment continue.
If you're perfect, how did we find you when you were obviously trying to remain undetected?
I was waiting for something smart enough, someone smart enough, some excellent material, working with the dregs and the scraps until I could get my hands on something useful, something that wanders in.
Honestly, I mean, now that you've explained it, I'm starting to see where you're at with this biological hybrid thing, but you should really just stick to what you're good at. And he holds up the little shocker, like, mechanic thing, slaps it, sets the timer for about half a second, and slaps it on the monitor.
Okay, rerun. Yeah. I mean, there's no way that's not gonna short it out, and this thing does not have any way of evading you.
It the monitor dodges.
What?
Okay, maybe he's right.
And Cori, Rerun, you both hear this piercing scream that starts, or does the sort of scream that an electronic gives off, like the whirring, high-pitched noise, and morphs back and forth to the screech of someone in deep amounts of pain. I can't do those sounds, so we're not gonna try.
Theater of the mind, everybody.
Yeah, and the screen just fades to blackness. The room around you, the spotlights that have been trying to follow you sort of stop still. The music, that little bit that was still in the background, shorts out.
Rerun kind of sighs, looks down at the ground for a minute, and then turns to Cori and pulls a pair of glasses from out of nowhere and goes, well, that must have been rather shocking. I've been saving up all game for that.
I can tell.
I will now voluntarily add another dark side point to the destiny pool.
Not how the destiny pool works.
It should be. Every time you make the GM essentially desk flip, you get a dark side point.
It's kind of like the swear jar that they try and have children have so they don't swear.
Right, and then you realize you're just saving up for pizza.
Right.
Do you think he's dead?
Well, maybe.
Oh.
We got our answer, though.
Should we call Kaya to send a recovery crew down?
Uh-huh.
1 second. And he turns to look at all the decraniateds. Are any of them moving?
No. Roll me just a mechanics difficulty 2 for diagnosing this.
Okay. That's 4 successes and a triumph and 2 threat.
They're definitely all alive, and you're actually fairly familiar with the basics of decraniated people as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, they're typically humans that brains and upper bits are removed to not necessarily replace with a droid, but instead just automate. They're they have some level of basic logic sensors, but they're humans turned into, for lack of a better term, mobile furniture.
Okay.
It's kind of an underworld practice as far as you are aware, but they're definitely still alive and breathing to the extent that such a person is, but they haven't been given any orders, and potentially whatever network they were connected to isn't operational anymore if it was him.
Right.
So they're just standing there.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Did we catch a name? He said something about Rue something?
Something like that.
Rooffred. Okay. I think
so. Yeah. Just to clarify, Rufru was a name that you heard from Spike.
Oh, from
Correct.
Spike. Okay, right.
Yes. No, that wasn't
he did mention a name. He referred to himself in third person at one point as Oram.
Oram. Okay. Okay. Well, these individuals seem to be calm for now. Yeah, let's go tell Kaya that she's got a weird techno-organic meat locker in her sub-basement, and that she might want to see what's going on down here at some point.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay, watch out for dangling cables on the way out.
Right. Because that'd be bad.
Yeah.
And you head up. I think that's where we're going to end it for the week.
Well,
Thanks for joining us for this weird side adventure, and next week, hopefully, we'll be back to a planet of darkness and slavery and shadows.
and revolution. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.